media.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. As much as I like to see Justin Trudeau get what he deserves, and we all know he can't catch a break whenever he combs the streets of Canada, whether it's people heckling at him, people following him with bullhorns, telling him what a horrible job he's been. I mean, even his own party right now is signing letters to have him step down from office. It appears every Canadian has lost faith in Justin Trudeau. However, what's happening now, Justin Trudeau is being attacked on his own home turf by means of intimidation. And it's glorious to watch, and we're going to get to that a little later in this video. But first, I have to address what the problem is. I mean, Justin Trudeau, if you've been anywhere but under a rock over the last year and a half to 2 years, you've noticed that there's an influx of people coming here from places in war-torn countries. Justin Trudeau has left the door open by inviting them into our country and allowing them to protest en masse in our streets by the hundreds of thousands across the country, burning our flags, shouting death to Canada, death to America, and now it's gotten out of control. If you tuned into the channel last week, I showed multiple videos of these protests and saying that things were getting out of hand. In fact, if you've watched this channel for quite some time, you'll know that I have been saying for months that this is out of control and it's going to get to a point where their numbers are greater than ours. And the invasion, ladies and gentlemen, is almost, or shall I say, is at this point in my mind complete. I think we're in dire straits, and I honestly believe that the anti-freedom convoy is here in Canada, and I'm going to get into that. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you that these kind of videos catch negative raps on YouTube. If you're enjoying the content, we're quickly approaching the 50,000 subscriber mark. Please make sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment down below. It helps push out this video to those who normally wouldn't get this kind of news feed in their YouTube feed. So if you are enjoying it, make sure to leave a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button. We'll get into more of that at the end of the video, but let's get into what's going on in Canada. I want to touch base and paint the scene for you here before we get into what happened with Justin Trudeau. As mass protests of Palestinians are still rampantly raging across the country, we see this clip from Toronto. A videographer was standing outside of Cafe Landwehr, which is, again, is Jewish-owned cafe. Now, the problem here is this is intimidation. Not only is there hate speech going around our country, and I don't care if you're Jewish, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care if you're Christian. We're talking about Canadians being threatened here. We're talking about Canadians under the threat of invaders that come here to stir up trouble. In fact, some of the heads of these Palestinian protests aren't even from Canada. They're paid actors. They're here to stir up trouble. Yet Justin Trudeau doesn't want to do anything about it. He claims he does, but does nothing. He allows our streets to be blocked with prayers, with protests of the hundreds of thousands again across the country, flooding the streets. And now it's turned into an issue similar to the Freedom Convoy, which is why, again, I'm calling it the Anti-Freedom Convoy. Let's take a look at what happened in Toronto here outside of this Landwehr Cafe. Now, the sickening display, again, this is intimidation, and I've often said that aside from a few people you can see standing in the window there, if these people believe in their protests, if they believe what they're actually protesting for, why are they hiding their faces everywhere they go? We saw this all throughout the pandemic. And again, a lot of people have said in the comments, Derek, you're always comparing things to the Freedom Convoy. You're kind of hung up on the Freedom Convoy. The reason I bring this up is because when we're going to take a look at what happens in Canada here, it's a clear bias against Canadians, against white people, against Justin Trudeau's pandering. This is his pandering biting him in the ass. This is his open door policies, a catch and release, coming back to bite him, as the numbers, again, are so great. We have chaos in our streets. The Freedom Convoy was out to protest jab mandates and tyranny from our government. They exercised their rights under the Charter of Rights to protest peacefully. Now, the Freedom Convoy did fill the streets of Ottawa with trucks. There were other convoys that started, for example, on the Windsor Bridge. We all know what happened there. But again, bank accounts were frozen. People were trampled with horses. People are still on trial for the actions they took in the Freedom Convoy. In fact, some people are still in jail for quite some time. after those actions. Nothing is happening to these folks because, well, Justin Trudeau wouldn't want to come across as a racist. And this is where I've got a problem with it. Take a look at what's going on in Pearson. Uber drivers blocked Pearson Airport. They should have been shoved on planes and deported. Epic fail, says anti-taxer. I agree. You can see back here, behind these folks standing in front of this this sign, the cars are parked for miles. I mean, there's people squatting in the streets. Now you can hear in the background somebody chuckling and laughing. They think this is hilarious. They're all just sitting here blocking traffic. We've seen this before where cops were giving them Tim Hortons coffee and say, hey, we agree with what you guys are doing. The reason I want to bring up these Palestinian protesters is because, and compared to the Freedom Convoy, you think about the Terry Fox Memorial statue. During the Freedom Convoy, people draped a Canadian flag over a statue of a Canadian icon, a Canadian hero, saying freedom for Canadians. And that was scrutinized as a hate crime. We were told that it was defacing a memorial. These guys have draped the Palestinian flag on Terry Fox and put mass signs all over him. Nothing comes of it. This is where I'm saying it's favoritism. It's a bias. We have big problems in Canada. Keep in mind, they're not just blocking flights while doing this. Anything like UPS, FedEx, Purelator, any of these courier companies, most of the time, in fact, 95% of the time, either have to access the airports or have their warehouses close to airports in order to ensure that their packages are getting on flights. You've got people flying in and out of the country for business. A lot of politicians use Pearson to get into Ottawa from across the country. However, they won't be doing it anyways because Justin Trudeau is avoiding work. But who's invoking the Emergency Act here? Who's freezing bank accounts? I don't see any horses with RCMP clearing these people out or beating them, shooting tear gas at them. Take a look at what happened in Ottawa now. And this is again where I question what's getting out of hand. The pleb tweeting out, the terrorist sympathizers Trudeau foolishly allowed to immigrate into Canada are now physically attacking his motorcade in downtown Ottawa. You seriously can't make this up. All this terrible policy decisions are blowing up in his face. This is again where I'm saying he reaps what he sows. But at the same time, this is a major blow for Canadian safety. Look at what happened with his motorcade.
This is the RCMP being attacked. RCMP trying to get through Justin Trudeau's office. This is the RCMP trying to get through. This is the RCMP in front of Justin Trudeau's office getting attacked. This is the RCMP trying to get through here. RCMP trying to get through behind me. The mob going after them. The RCMP appear to be retreating. The RCMP just tried to get through here. We're attacked by a mob. The RCMP attacked by this mob. The RCMP now retreating. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police retreating. Ottawa Police noticeably absent. Absolute mayhem in downtown Ottawa as the RCMP just retreated from an angry mob.
Now, Chris Dacey, in front of the channel, of course, providing that clip, showing a blatant disregard for, again, compared to the Freedom Convoy, you see there's no semi-trucks in the streets. Nobody's blocking Wellington. You've got maybe, 40, 50 people out there screaming at these vehicles. We've seen Justin Trudeau flee from fundraisers for protesters. Now we're seeing the RCMP and Justin Trudeau fleeing in front of his own office. He can't even go into his office. These are the people he allowed into the country. It's sad to think that this is Canada now. This is where we are. It's gotten so out of control that even the RCMP are running away from these guys. And it's not that the RCMP can't use force. It's that they don't want the bad PR. We're choosing Canadian safety over bad public relations, out of looking racist, or looking like we're telling people that if they're from another country, they can't come here and have their right to protest. Well, Justin Trudeau has demonstrated that already, again, with the Freedom Convoy. Now, whether you are for the Freedom Convoy, against the Freedom Convoy, or say, hey, it moved on, I'm comparing the two events because you can't have one but not allow the other. You shut down one of the largest protests in Canadian history and said that it was time to go home. You weren't allowed in the streets anymore. Bank accounts frozen, people lynch mobbed, beaten in the streets. Rebel news reporters beaten and tear gassed, covering news. But this is okay. This is allowed. Last clip, guys. I want to show you what happened in Edmonton. Good friend of the channel, Aaron, Freedom for All Time. Great Twitter account to follow, by the way. You should definitely check out Aaron's tweets. These people are terrorists, have no place in Canada. Mocha, again, Mocha Bazirgan, a really great reporter out of the Edmonton area. Pro-Khalistan protesters clash with Edmonton police. Khalistan supporters armed with daggers, swords, and spears gathered in Edmonton, Alberta to protest against India's decision to, Justin Trudeau's decision to expel, essentially causing a democratic war with India by saying that they've unalived people. This is the problem again. Now, I know this is separate from Palestinian protesters. But once again, Khalistans are allowed in the streets with daggers, swords, sabers. Well, it's part of their religion. It's okay. They can do this. Look at what they did with Edmonton police.
Don't touch my camera. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Don't touch me. You get away from me. Don't touch me again.
So they touched Mocha. That's assault. No police are arresting these guys because, again, they're not white. They don't want to have a problem.
Yeah, I didn't touch him. Here's the thing, though. Right?
Now, did you guys see that there? I'm going to rewind it. This gentleman right here charges at police. Again, if you'd have done that during any other protest, I'm not going to keep referencing the Freedom Convoy. Any other protest, you charge a police officer like that. What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to show restraint like they're doing here?
This is the mission, and it's coming very close, very soon. India will shatter it into minimum of 15 pieces, minimum.
Okay, I'm not going to keep showing it. I should have clarified that when I said that they're here in regards to what happened with Canada and India. Essentially, what Khalistan is aiming to do is stay separate from India. They're anti-India. So I should have clarified. I don't want people thinking that I'm saying that they're defending India by any means, but nonetheless, daggers, spears, sabers, all in the streets, challenging police. And the police, again, if you go back here, acting very cordial. If you compare this to any other protests where it's Canadians, where the police is nice and friendly, where they is cordial with protesters, as you see here. The last time I seen the RCMP or police, now this is Edmonton police, so I'll give them some props for obeying their orders, I guess. Keep in mind that these orders come from the high ups. This isn't them making decisions on the ground. They've been told what to do. Essentially, Canada's police has been, how do you say it, cucked. We've been cut off. We're not allowed to do our jobs. We're not allowed to arrest people. We're not allowed to charge anybody. And anytime I've spoken to actual police officers that do their job, that uphold the law, they've told me how frustrated they are that they're not able to do anything in this country anymore. In fact, when you look at these videos, when you look at these protests, when you look at the clash in Edmonton, this isn't Canada anymore. Canada's turning into one big breeding ground for hate, for violence, where you can't go into the streets and be safe. You can't take your children outside. I wouldn't want my kids walking around with these guys with their flags and their spears and their knives. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you'd feel safe without children walking around in front of this. But the bottom line is that this all has to stop. If you're going to stop one protest, you have to stop them all. And you have to know where to draw your line in the sand and say enough is enough. You guys have overstepped the line. We're going to start shutting these things down. We're going to start showing up with the tear gas. We're going to start, if you want to go to your mosques, if you want to go to your places of worship and protest, be our guest, but you're not allowed to approach businesses. You're not allowed to stop traffic in the streets anymore. If you do, you're going to be arrested. We will use force to get you out of here. It's time that we take Canada back. I don't even know if I should say before it's too late. I think it almost is too late at this point because their numbers greatly overpower ours. And like I said, the anti-freedom convoy is here. Whichever foreign country you side with or see in the streets, I shouldn't say side with, but whichever foreign country feels like going out and yelling in the streets, they're part of the anti-freedom convoy because they don't care about Canadians' rights. They don't care about our laws. They care about what they want to preach. They care about what they want. And they're more aggressive than Canadians. We've laid down for too long. I think it needs to stop. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think Justin Trudeau is going to put up with any more attacks on his motorcades? Let me know what you think down below. If it's your first time here, again, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure if you're hitting that button, you click your bell for notifications. Join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, my live streaming show, where we go over everything that's happened this week in politics, everything coming up in the week ahead that we're aware of, and some back and forth and funny stories and articles within our community, and my wife, Mrs. Fringe, who joins us on those streams. We look forward to sitting and chatting with you guys each and every Friday here on the channel, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, every Friday night here on The Fringe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.